Welcome to the Heart of Giving. As you know, we interview the nonprofits in the city of Long Beach and tell you about the things that they're doing to strengthen our city, show love and support. And just as an aside, I have to tell you that after each taping, I feel so good about the city of Long Beach and the people that want to make our city a better city and take care of each other. So today is no exception. Today I have a group that I'm delighted to have here today because they've done so much for so many years that they need to know, you need to know, all of the wonderful things they've done, and that is the Long Beach Children's Dental Clinic. And we have Dr. John Blake and Barbara Lieberman-Jones with us today to tell us about the background and what this does for our children. Welcome. Yeah. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
really
now you guys are a team because I've seen you talk together at other occasions, and you have been with it longer. So tell us about the beginning, and then we'll get to exactly what happens every day.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Well, we were founded in 1932. Dr. Robert Anderson was at that time private dentist that saw the need in the city and started actually in a room in the Tishner Clinic. And then from there, the earthquake hit, of course, and he wound up in a mobile trailer treating children at the school sites. Mm-hmm. And it developed from there. The Junior League of Long Beach got involved and helped secure some space for us in a bungalow at one of our schools. And then about 1970, we moved over to Miller Children's Long Beach Memorial Medical Center down on the ground floor, where we were until 2005 when they started the construction of the new program there, and we went across the street into our building now. So quite a history.
And it's a permanent place where you are
yes,
now
it is.
At Memorial.
Correct. Yeah, we leased space from them, and we were able to expand, almost double our size when we did move back then. So 81 years still.
And have you been, how many years have you been with them, Dr. Blake?
Well, I started as a volunteer. My mom was in the Junior League, and she said, you know, get off the beach and stop surfing and go look at some professions. She said, so I ended up volunteering there. That would have been in 1980. And it was just such a great staff, and I loved what they were doing. The children all seemed happy to be at the dentist, and I thought, well, maybe I'll be a dentist. So that
Is
sparked.
that right? I didn't know all that.
Yeah, that sparked my interest in dentistry, and at the time, Clara Andrews was the director, and then when I was volunteering, it switched to Patty Acosta, whom you know, and
yes, was there many years.
Administrator for many, many years. But that sparked my interest, and came back when I got out of dental school. Started a private practice, but always had a hand in either at the board level or treating patients when I could, a day a week. And then years later, I ended up selling my private practice to go over full-time. It's been about 10 years now.
Is that right?
Yeah,
so you're full-time at the clinic?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is wonderful. You know, and I hate to bring this up because it was so long ago, but I was a child helped by the Children's Dental Clinic when I was in elementary school, because they had a mobile unit that would come to the schools, and you got a button if you had good teeth. And oh gosh, that was a real tribute. You know, got good teeth. It's wonderful. But anyway, I know the things that you do there, and the heart that I feel when I look at both of you is that you love what you're doing.
That's great.
So either you or Patty, tell us about Barbara.
I mentioned Patty.
Well, you mentioned Patty, and I knew Patty. The depth of what you do every day, and the outreach that you do.
Sure, Barbara.
Well, I have been with the clinic for 7 years, and but I've lived in the greater Long Beach area for 32. And we should all be so proud that the city of Long Beach is home to the Children's Dental Health Clinic. Because what we do for our children, I don't know of any other city who has a safety net nonprofit clinic such as ours in California. Mm-hmm. It's all about the child, and we are there for any child who can't afford dental care. Mm-hmm. Most of our patients are on Medi-Cal. Mm-hmm. Around 20 to 30% have complex medical considerations. And what's so special and unique about us is that Dr. Blake has all multi-specialty dentistry under one roof. So a child who comes in and a parent, let's say, has been searching for a dentist and can't find one in our community who takes dental cal and their child has autism, they know that their child will be taken care of by a specialist in our clinic under whatever type of sedation, level of sedation that's necessary.
Is that right?
Every program is integrated, and besides the fact that we provide dentistry, we're also a teaching facility. And I think Dr. Blake would like to share a little bit about that uniqueness.
We've grown to, we house the USC pediatric dental residents in their second year.
Oh, is that right?
So,
That's a great connection.
3 of them receive all of their clinical training at our facility in their last year. And we've got associations with their oral maxillofacial surgeons. The Cerritos College hygiene program rotates their hygienists in training through. So we're this little mini dental school and teaching facility in addition to, you know, providing the dental care. And it really, as Barbara mentioned, it goes anywhere from just the basic cleaning and x-rays to taking a child to the hospital operating room that has some complex medical considerations that needs to be treated under general anesthesia. So the whole gamut, it's a true dental home.
Because when it first started, I think it was mainly looking at cavities.
Sure, yeah, it's just very basic drill and fill, if you will. So,
Yeah, it is drill and fill.
Yes.
yeah, a little more than that now.
Yeah.
And knowing in the city of Long Beach, one of the references that we use is how many children in Long Beach schools are on reduced lunch, which means you're 185% of the poverty level. 57,000 out of around 85,000 children are on reduced lunch. This is our population. And we're very proud of the fact that we also have programs for prevention. And right now, Dr. Blake has begun a study to start providing sealants for our children of Long Beach who are underserved.
Providing what?
Dental sealants. You may want to talk.
It's a preventative procedure. Just basically a plastic coating is placed on the chewing surfaces of teeth, and it protects them from future cavities. So the Medi-Cal or Denti-Cal system will only cover certain teeth, and we felt that all the teeth that were appropriate to seal should be taken care of. So Barbara was able to secure some grant funding, and we've started a research project, long-term 5-year research project that's through, you know, approved through the hospital to study if we're sealing these teeth, do they get fewer cavities? And then the research has shown that they do, but we've got an internal program and we're providing this service for the children of the community. So it's just kind of a nice tie-in.
Well, when you talk about the children of Long Beach and the fact that we have so many children in need that can't afford dental services, and you take care of them, I think is a tribute to all of you. I mean, it's a tribute to the city, it's a tribute to the 2 of you that I know work at this constantly. I know you have fundraisers, dinners, so because I remember being at a few of those. But tell us about how many you deal with, you know, how many you've had through the years. People would like to know, is this a specialist thing and you have to have the right clothes on or anything? I know that you take any child that's in need, and you gave us the slogan that you had.
Well, every organization or nonprofit has their internal value system, that everybody is on the same page of why they get up every day to do what they're doing, the passion that drives them. And our slogan for 81 years has always been that we say to our donors and those who support us, thank you for believing with us that every child deserves to smile.
Yeah.
When the child comes in and they're in pain, and 50% of all of our children in kindergarten have had dental disease, and by 3rd grade it goes to 70%.
Is that right?
That dental disease causes pain. Children can't sleep at night, they may not be eating, and they definitely are not concentrating in school. When that child walks in our door, we want to make sure that they leave
With a smile.
with a smile.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how many do you accommodate each day?
Our overall numbers are 10,000 patients, unique patients, and about 30,000 visits a year. And we're talking on the clinical side. If we get into the outreach and the prevention that we do in the schools, that number is certainly bigger. But we have yet to turn a patient away that we couldn't accommodate with our specialist or our pediatric dentist. And so if someone's in need and they're looking for a resource, that's really what we're built around. We want children to gain healthy smiles.
Well, you know, every time I walk by there, I just see a room full of children, and many of them probably have never been to a dentist, and they're all excited and nervous about, but with the attitude that the both of you have and the number of people that you influence, it makes it a better day. So I thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful tribute to you and to our community.
Oh,
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
And be sure and come back.
Hi, I'm Judy Ross. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership. And we are so delighted to be partnering with Beverly O'Neill and PadNet, our new public access television network, with the Heart of Giving. This is an opportunity to really showcase our wonderful nonprofits in our community. The Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership helps nonprofits become strong and sustainable.
I'm glad you're back to hear our next segment. I don't know much about it because it's a fairly new nonprofit in town, but it sounds intriguing. And we have Barry Kogert, who is the executive director of the Jazz Angels. So we don't know what that is. So Barry, tell us about it. What do you do to be a Jazz Angel?
Okay. Well, in the Jazz Angels is a youth jazz education program originally designed for middle school age children. But now that we've been around for 8 years, our programming has expanded to elementary school age children. And then we have musicians that have been in our program since middle school, and now they're driving their own cars to our rehearsals to play. They don't want to leave the program, which is really neat. And what the program is a community. We kind of service Greater Long Beach. We're not located or based out of a school. We rehearse on Sunday afternoons at our studio, and we'll offer the program to children, young musicians with at least maybe 1 semester experience. On up to people who've been playing for years. The opportunity to play in a small ensemble of about 10 musicians, and we'll have professionals come and sit in with them. We have a few rehearsals, and then we do a few performances in the community.
And when you say you have students, and you say they need, does the student have to have musical background to get started with you?
As of right now, yes, we have. They need about a semester experience. We have kind of our, excuse me, our kid jazz program. So there's some children who've been playing for maybe a few months, and they know 7 or 8 notes. Well, we have a band that we could put them in to.
7 or 8 notes would do it.
7 or 8 notes
Okay.
is a beginning, and then we introduce some simple songs with some nice melodies, and then encourage them to improvise. And once once you've started improvising, that opens up like a whole new level of listening and understanding. And that's what we didn't know was going to happen in the organization or in the programming was. And if I could tell you a little story.
Oh, yeah.
About this
Yeah,
guy.
I got to understand this.
Okay, about this guy Terrence. He came into the program and was a pretty shy young man. You know.
How old?
He was. I think his parents. At that time, we said you had to be 11. I think he was 10, and I think his parents lied about his age to get him in. But he was pretty advanced for someone at that age, and. So he was pretty shy. He would kind of hide behind his music stand as he played the piano, and would.
So he had obviously had piano lessons.
Yeah, he had been playing piano for a few years. So, but to play in a situation with other musicians is another dimension of complication.
Oh yeah.
So after about 4 rehearsals using our method of teaching, I was able to kind of persuade him to take a solo. I said, come on, just improvise a little solo. And so he did, and afterwards he liked it. I mean, it's a really neat experience, and we see this happen time and time again in our program. The musician takes a solo, they feel good about it, even if they make some mistakes, and we say that's okay. Mistakes are evident, and they're really good learning tools. So after he soloed a couple times and then a few more rehearsals, he was getting more confident, and they get motivated to actually do better the next time they come, because you're kind of on the spot, you know, but it's a fun thing to do, and it's all based around fun. And so Terrence was with us for a few years, but as the years went on, he would really like guide the band through his improvised journey, and it was really a neat experience. And then and for us, it was very rewarding. It's like, okay, this program's works. This guy feels good about his musical abilities. He feels good about his playing. He shows up on time. He's very responsible, because we put a lot of responsibility on the young musicians in the program. But what we didn't know, and this is the really neat thing about the program, we didn't know that he had offered or volunteered to be a team leader for a project at his school for an English project. So here's this little shy guy that after about a year in our program figured out what everybody on his team should do, took their mission, their assignments, handed it out to them, organized their times to practice, timed their presentation, did all of this all of this for his
Choreographed it for everybody.
Choreographed it for everybody, and then afterwards his presentation was far superior to everyone else. And afterwards his teacher said, "Where did you get all these skills to put on this presentation?" He said, "Well, I got it from watching Barry and the Jazz Angels and how we put together our programming." And then I just heard a couple weeks ago that Terrence spoke in a young leadership conference in Orange County in front of 1,000 kids. And his mom said, you know, he was just so relaxed and confident and things like that. So being part of our program reaches far beyond a musical experience, you know, into confidence, goal setting, leadership skills, things like that.
Well, it seems like jazz is a unit, but it's also individuals.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and that's what we share with the musicians in the program. We also include history and things like that, because I think it's really important to understand how this music kind of evolved from a few people playing to all of a sudden there was a war, and the musicians kind of spread out across the country, and then all these big bands came up, and when the big bands came up, everybody had to play really in tune with each other. They all had to start on time, they all had to stop on time. And then, so they had to play at this big ensemble, and then it comes down to you taking a solo. And you have to stand up and have your musical conversation, tell your story with some notes that you've prepared.
Oh, wow.
And do it on the spot and react. And it's a really neat thing to watch it happen with our kids, especially a couple of people who started off, they were in middle school, 6th grade, and they're still with us, and they're driving their cars now to rehearsal. And to hear these, not only to hear them play, but to hear them talk about what they're doing and things like that, it's like, wow, these are our leaders, and they're so confident. They have no problem speaking to someone who's older than them or sharing an idea, you know.
Well, you know, we talk about helping children, but you're helping them in a very unique way. But what you get from getting them in the first place to what they develop into, as your boy Terrence did, is what gives you the joy.
Right. That was when I found out that it went beyond the music
notes,
to what he did in school and impressed his teacher. And then when he said, "Oh, I learned that by watching these guys," because at the rehearsals we'll talk about, we're going to do a show. We have 45 minutes. We have this many songs. We might have to stretch it out. We might have to cut it. I'm going to tell a couple of jokes while you guys are getting your music. So we're going to rehearse the jokes, you know, and they see the whole presentation.
How did you get into this, Barry?
That's a good question too. About 9 or 10 years
You're a
ago.
professional musician.
Yes, I'm a professional musician and have been fortunate to work here in Long Beach and surrounding areas for longer than I could think of. It's been a really neat blessing that I haven't had to go out on the road or anything like a lot of my friends. So, in about 10 years ago, I was playing at a church, and it was they would broadcast our services, and we would play live worldwide. So it was a really neat experience. But during our breaks, me and a couple of the guys were talking about what's going on with music and things like that. And then we couldn't get off that conversation. So after about a year or so, I got with one of the guys in the band, and I said, we have to start this thing. What are we going to do? He said, well, we have to get our nonprofit status, and we have to do this. And so he took care of all that. As one of my founders, Mark Barnes, is a great guy. He took care of all that filing because I was a musician.
You were not a statistician
and a teacher,
teacher,
certainly musicians aren't typically the best businessmen in the world. So,
is that right?
well, typically, yeah, because we're on the creative side. Anyway, we started this. Then I was able to get an arts a grant from the Arts Council to start this first program, and I did. And we had a rehearsal. I begged and pleaded with 10 kids to come in, please play with this band. Okay, they did. We had a performance, and after the performance, I said, "Okay, guys, thanks a lot." And they were going, "Well, when's the next rehearsal?"
I'm so sorry the time is up.
That's okay.
Can you believe this? But at least we found out what you're all about and how you got to be there. And if somebody wants to contact you with a child that has this background or would like this background, how do they do it?
Well,
no, just real quickly.
Okay, our website is www.jazzangel.org, or they could call 562-981-8410.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice
Beverly.
to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you learned a lot today, and so did I. I'm glad that you were with us, and be sure you watch the next program that we have because that's going to be exciting also. Bye-bye.